up? What up? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent. And yesterday, I only had one bet total. That was the Pacers +8, and they didn't need any points at all. They won outright. So, nice 1-0 winning day for myself. Mr. Veno, good to see you again. How was yesterday for you?
Boy, yesterday was a good ski. 6-0. A lot
Nice.
of it in college hoop. We had a 5-0 college hoop. And the one play in the NBA, I think we talked about it here, the Bulls team total over 114.5 did get there. They got to 116. So, yeah, it was a great day. I was, you're always happy to get those when they come. They don't come all that often, but you're happy to get them when they do.
And here's J Money 029 giving you a shout out. Says he cashed a nice bet with that team total over for the Bulls. So nice work there. Taking a look at the comment section really quick. Everybody's guessing. A lot of guesses coming in, but none correct. Is that powder blue, light blue? What is that there, Rob?
Somebody said yesterday Veno's overdue for light blue. So I say, you know what? I'll wear light blue today. See if they guess it.
So far, no light blue.
Oh, man.
I'm going to keep going through the comments really quick because I know today's going to be a little bit different. We'll go through NFL first, and then Veno, he's probably going to have to slide in and out. He slide out for a little bit and come back, and we'll go to the NBA. So NFL first, and then NBA second. They're setting lines for me being over under 10 minutes late. Well, the under cash because I'm here. See, I don't know. I feel like you got to be a little bit more specific than that blue, right?
Yeah, because you gave out the list last week, so they know.
Exactly. Navy. A lot of people saying navy blue, but that's not navy. What about nugget blue? Anybody saying?
Man, I think, you know what? It probably is close to nugget blue. I think Bryce is the guy yesterday who said light blue, and I think we tricked him. Dark brown, Nucky. I would never wear dark brown.
Is it North Carolina blue? What about that?
You know what? I would say that could be good enough. Yeah.
Okay. So Austin is the winner for today. And Austin, either leave a comment with like your Cash App or something, Venmo, something like that, or just DM me on Twitter, and I will buy you lunch for the day for being the first one to guess Veno's shirt color correct.
Good job, Austin.
So shout out to you, Austin. And I want to get straight to it, but before I do, I have to give a shout out to the chat. They did give us some best bets yesterday. They went 14-9 overall. Tomorrow went with OKC, which was a winner. KC like Jay Will over his PRA. That's been consistent for her. Another winner. JT like the Wizards game under. Nice call there. Main A went with RJ Barrett rebounds plus assists over 9.5, which was a winner. Jeff H like the Kings game under 248. Barely got there, but it got there. Brandon Saunders shared an NHL winner with us. The Boston Bruins, I believe they won 5-2, so nice call there. Sean Evans, like Colin Sexton, over 19.5 points. He had a 30-piece, so nice work there. Dylan was another person on the Wizards under. Inhale Divine went both Bulls money line and OKC -3, so nice work there. Good stuff from the chat. Let's get straight to it, Rob, because I know we're a little pressed, or it's just, a little pressed for time today. So NFL divisional playoffs. I'll kind of just group them together, but I will still talk about them in rotation order. So first and foremost, 301, 302, Houston and Baltimore. This one is probably, I don't really care about that Green Bay San Francisco game. That's what I'll say. So this is my favorite game of Saturday, and opened up 9.5 for Baltimore. Hasn't really moved. Total opened up 46.5. We've seen that come down. So my initial thought here was, I don't trust Lamar Jackson. He's proven to, not be that guy in the playoffs in previous years. I've never really been a fan. CJ Stroud, I love everything about him. I backed him last week, and my first thought was he won't go down without a fight. Now, I remember these teams played in week 1. Baltimore dominated that game. A lot of it was defensively, and you can say, maybe it was because it was his first game starting, or Baltimore's were just that good. All season long, their defense was immaculate. They've been a really good starting team, They held teams to 7 points in the first half all season long. So, with time off to prepare here, Rob, I can't help but think that Baltimore will have a script for them to go out there and score against Houston's defense because even though I like Stroud better than Lamar, Houston's defense is not as good as Baltimore's. So Lamar is going to have it easier. I think they'll have a script ready for him to score. And I think that defense will be ready for Stroud. And they've already seen him once. So I was thinking get in and get out with the Ravens first half -6.5. Can you talk me off? And how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, I think, logically, theoretically, there would be a lot of pieces that would line up with that thought process, Ski. You get a young team, first-year head coach. Although I will say this about D'Amico Ryans. Not necessarily a first-year playoff guy. I mean, although he was only a coordinator, defensive coordinator, which is pretty high-ranking assistant coach, he was there in the playoffs with San Francisco quite a bit. So I think you saw last week when Cleveland scored 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives and then never scored again the rest of the game, that D'Amico Ryans, who is a defensive mind, adjusted and shut Cleveland down the rest of the way. So to your point about first half, you would think maybe Houston's the young team coming into a rough environment, a dome team coming into cold weather. I don't know how much effect that'll have on CJ Stroud, right? He's a Columbus, Ohio. He played for Ohio State for a few years. So it's going to be about 24 degrees. The winds have died down, Ski. I think that initial move in the total from 46.5 to 43.5 was early in the week. This was projected to be 20 plus mile an hour winds. Now it's all the way down to like 13, which both of these guys are strong armed enough to cut through 13. I don't see that being a problem. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't talk you off Baltimore first half. I really couldn't. You had a good read on Houston last week. I'll say this. I think that the total now with no wind conditions is kind of light at 43.5. You're telling me that a 27-17 game cashes the ticket here. And I believe that not only will Baltimore, probably Houston makes more adjustments here than Baltimore. Houston's grown over the weeks. And certainly, like I said about Ryans earlier, he got to look at Baltimore's offense and see what they have. Now, to that point, Ski, I'll say this. Baltimore in the very first game, remember, they were not a well-oiled machine offensively to start the year. The new coordinator, and they struggled. And they got better as the season went on. So that could be problematic for Houston, as could Houston's offense, which got better as the season went on, be problematic for Baltimore, who's without one of their starting cornerbacks here. I kind of like over 43.5 because, again, 27-17 doesn't seem that far out of the realm of possibility to me. If you get a defensive turnover from either of these groups, this team picked Joe Flacco off twice last week. You could probably get some cheap points. So I wouldn't talk you off first half because I think Baltimore's probably the team, as long as they're not rusty, that comes out quick. But I do think there'll be more than 43.5 points scored. I don't think 25-degree weather is going to bother anybody in that game.
All right, good stuff. You guys heard both of our opinions on this one. And we'll move on over to 303, 304, Green Bay and San Francisco. San Fran opened up -9.5. Hasn't really moved. Total opened 50.5, and that hasn't really moved either. I don't have the strongest opinion on Green Bay's in general. And San Fran, they have all the talent. I just don't really trust Purdy. So this is a game that I'm ultimately going to have nothing to do with. I won't waste anybody's time. Can you help the people make some money between Green Bay and San Francisco?
Well, again, just being a totals guy, Ski, 50.5, just the number sticks out to me simply because 51 is a key number in football. There's a lot of thoughts going through my head in this game, but I'll start with this. Green Bay was a pretty easy play last week. And I think on this show, I think we might have talked about over because that's what I had. I had a big play on over because we knew Dallas could be run on. Teams have shown you can just push Dallas around with the running game. And Aaron Jones, I think it's 4 games in a row now with 100 plus. But can they push San Francisco around to run him enough to make life easy for Jordan Love? That's another question here. If Green Bay gets first and 10, only 2 yards, and now it's 2nd and 8. San Francisco's linebacking core in that pass rush is no joke with Nick Bosa. So I don't know that Love, unless Jones can run it good enough, I don't know that Love will have it as easy as last week. It's a totally different opponent. All that being said, I know a lot of it was in garbage time, but garbage time means that the other team has to throw because they're coming from behind, so you just pin your ears back and rush. And Green Bay still gave up over 500 yards of offense to Dallas, knowing that all they could do was run because they had to throw because they had to catch up. That's a red flag. Green Bay, if you go back 3 games, you start looking and see that Carolina scored 30 against them. Tampa Bay scored 34 against them. It's not a good defense. So I think at this point in time, I lean a little more towards San Francisco minus the points. I just think they're the more rounded team. One guy, defensive lineman for Green Bay, came out publicly and said, we'll force Brock Purdy into at least 1 turnover. I don't know that you want to say that with the San Francisco defense listening because they're liable to come after Jordan Love a little harder now. So I think I would lean San Francisco, and I think I would lean total simply because the 51 is available. And to me, again, I'll use a number here. 34-17 doesn't sound that crazy to me. 31-20 doesn't sound that crazy to me in this particular game. So I'd probably lean both of those ways, San Fran and over.
All right, good stuff. I'm staying far, far away from this game. I'll let you have it all. You can get everybody can have a piece of this game. Ski will not be involved. 315, 316, Tampa and Detroit. I've been back and forth on this game, but it opened 5.5 favorites for Detroit. Now 6.5. Total open 48.5, and we're looking at 49s. It will be played out here in Detroit. And my first thought was, them still being out here, or them still being in Detroit, I still think they're juiced up as far as like they haven't been in the playoffs in so long. The city is like going crazy for the Lions, So I think they'll still be excited to come out and play in front of their fans at home. And every game, not every game, but majority of the games that they've won, it's only been 3 games, I think, that they won and didn't come out blazing and score, 2 touchdowns in the first half, like 14 points. I thought about their team total over 13.5. But I just think it's not going to be a whole lot of running in this game. Both defenses are pretty solid against the run, and both defenses can be had in the air. I can see Mike Evans taking advantage of that Detroit secondary. So my best thought right now is the first half over 24. Just thinking before anybody gets some kind of a sizable lead and tries to, run out the clock. Because when they start to run, I don't think they're going to have success as far as scoring. So first half over, or Detroit first half team total over. Those are the ways I'm thinking. The full game, Tampa has been road warriors all year. I think they've only failed to cover 1 road game so far this season. And Baker is used to playing in the snow. So I think they'll be just fine on offense. So lean over first half. What do you like, Ravino?
I'm with you on over. I was surprised it opened so low. I guess that's due to the fact that Tampa Bay's in the game. But I think you made a great point. Detroit's secondary, we saw it last week. If the Rams don't get forced into 3 field goals inside the 10-yard line, the Rams win that game, right? Matthew Stafford, with a hand that was swollen and bleeding, a throwing hand, still threw for 360 or something crazy against that defense. So what Detroit does well, you pointed it out. Defensively, they do one thing well. Well, one thing really well and one thing well. They stop the run, but Tampa Bay doesn't run. So your best asset is probably negated. Aiden Hutchinson does rush the passer, but Tampa Bay protects their passer pretty well. And Mayfield showed last week against Philly, again, a team with a good pass rush, that he can kind of, if the play breaks down, he can go ahead and run and still make 8-10 yards. So I think that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and the tight end Otten, who dropped 3 balls but caught 6 or 7 in that game, they can make some hay on offense and score some points. And I don't think Tampa Bay in any way, shape, or form stops this Detroit team. I really don't. Detroit does everything well. It's, again, if we boil football down to its most simplest form, it's the offensive lines against the defensive lines. Detroit's got one of the two best offensive lines in the league. Jared Goff doesn't get touched. The running game, they run through holes that, you and I could run through and gain yardage. So I think Tampa Bay, who wasn't up against it at all, against Jalen Hurts and Philly without A.J. Brown, they saw really nothing that threatened them offensively. Here they're going to be faced with threats. Think Detroit scores. When you said Detroit team total, I could agree with you totally there. And again, it's perfect conditions inside a dome. Why not play over? They've only pushed it from 48.5 to 49. Again, I think that's because Tampa's in the game. But just ask yourself, do you think Baker Mayfield in that passing game can find their way to 20 points against this defense? Almost everybody does. And I think that answer is yes. So I'd probably look full game over as my top play. And then, if you want to chop it up a little bit, like you were saying, Detroit first half team total to get to 14. They were at 14 in the first quarter last week. Might be able to do that again.
So you prefer the full game over versus the first half, correct?
I do.
Okay. Good stuff on that one. Let's move over to the last game on the slate. That is 317, 318. Kansas City Chiefs heading into Buffalo to take on the Bills. Opened up Bills -2.5. Still sitting right there. Total open 46.5, and it's down to 45.5. So I can't help but think here, Rob, that it's that game where Buffalo finally gets a little bit of get back versus Kansas City. Kansas City looking a little bit vulnerable. At the same time, can never really count out Mahomes. So how do you see this game playing out here?
This is tough. This is tough because Buffalo's so injured on the defensive side. I think that's what makes it tough. If Buffalo didn't sustain a couple more injuries last week, I think I would be firmly in Buffalo's corner. These, Kansas City's used to these elements, right? They played, what was it, -27 last week in KC? So the snow and the cold and whatever wind, it's not going to bother the Chiefs whatsoever. I think that, Buffalo, especially in the back seven, being as banged up as they are, I think that's a little bit problematic. That being said, these two teams have played each other so much, Ski, that each coaching staff knows what the other does by now. So it's just who executes game plans here. Does Kansas City go out and continue to drop passes like they've done all season long and blow a game that way? Remember, this game basically the first time around came down to Kadarius Toney being offsides. Otherwise, that play where Kelsey threw the ball back across the field for a touchdown after catching it would have won the game for KC. So Buffalo played really well there. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, their running ability always has to be taken into consideration. This one's really tough, except that I think that and it's probably tough for me because I think KC obviously is the better defense and Buffalo to me has the better offense. And now that they can run the ball, it's even better. The home crowd might make a difference. I think the one thing that is brought up, but people semi-brush under the rug just because he's Patrick Mahomes, is the fact that Kansas City has never really had to go on the road and win a playoff game with him at quarterback. This is a different environment than Kansas City every single time. So if I had to choose here, and I haven't played yet, so I don't want to mislead anybody, but if I had to choose right now, I think I would take Buffalo despite the defensive injuries to win by a field goal, just because I want to see KC go on the road and do it one time. And does the crowd noise and the elements, do they affect them being in somebody else's stadium rather than at home? I think I would look at Buffalo. Total for me, still a little bit up in the air. It's low enough. But that Kansas City offense hasn't proven much so far this year. And the first time they played an under. So coaches do adjust. We'll see. I got to look into this one just a little bit more. But for now, I would say I would lean Buffalo minus the 2.5.
All right, good stuff, Veno. I know it's about that time. So if you want to slide on over, and I should still be here rocking out some NBA if you want to come back.
All right, so I'll come back and see you guys in a little bit. Let me go bang out some college hoop here for Wager Talk, and then we can get into some NBA. I'll talk to you in a little bit, buddy.
All right, sounds good. Good stuff there. Wanted to get Rob Veno's opinion on the NFL first and foremost, and then he'll be back to help clean up with the NBA. So while he bangs out some college basketball, we'll look at some professional hoops. As always, we'll go in rotation order. And that begins with 531, 532. San Antonio Spurs heading into Charlotte to take on the Hornets. This game opened up Hornets minus 4.5. They're still 4.5 point favorites. Total opened up 234.5, and it looks like 236 right now. Injury report. Let me just hit refresh. So for the Hornets, looks like McGowan's and Brandon Miller game time decision. Nick Richards also game time decision. They'll continue to be without Gordon Hayward and Mark Williams. Spurs without Zach Collins is actually likely for this contest. They're without Wembanyama though. So I'm going to be honest, man. This is both teams on the front end of a back-to-back here. So it did populate for me the if you know you know under system because these teams did play about a week ago, and the total did open up lower here. Both of these teams have been trending towards the under. 4 of the last 5 for the Spurs, 6 of the last 8 for the Hornets. But the more this game goes on, I just don't know how much of that defensive intensity is going to be there because they both have a game tomorrow. So when I added in that both teams on the front end of a back-to-back to that system, it was more of an over system than an under system. And I can't really bank on both of these defenses anyway. So this is a really tough game. If I had to play it, I'm in no way going to be laying points with this Hornets team. They've covered 0 games out of their last 6. They had that players only meeting, whatever, and they still came out there and didn't look great. Lost by like 20 points. So it's Spurs or pass for me, just from a simple fact that I will not lay with the Hornets. At least right now, until they show me or give me a reason to. So let's take a look at the chat. And it's on Dub said, no, Rob, come back. Don't leave me with Ski. JT says, fade Spurs without Wemby. Also says, revenge game. Absolutely a bum fight. Let's see what Kevin Johnson has right here. He says, home favorites and non-conference matchups where both teams are on the first night of a back-to-back. And the opponent is on the road again for the third game in 4 nights. It seems like a lot. I'm not going to lie. But it's a 14-3, 15-2 angle. But that's a lot of parameters. A lot of parameters in there. I will not be involved in this game. So let's keep moving down the list. We do have 6 more games, I believe. And next one up, we have 533, 534. That is Philadelphia and Orlando. Opened up Philly minus 4.5. They're now 5-point favorite. Total opened up 223. And it looks like 222.5 is the consensus. For the injury report, Magic continue to be without Franz Wagner and Gary Harris Jr. For the Sixers, Melton, Covington, Mo Bamba all out. And then Springer is game time decision. For this one, the Sixers are on the front end of a back-to-back. They play Charlotte tomorrow. And I was thinking about a couple different ways to play this game. For one, I think the under is the way to go. I mean, I get that Sixers have been more of an over team on the road. They have hit it 8 of their last 11. But Orlando, they've been struggling to score the ball since France has been out of the lineup. They have gone under in 6 straight. They're playing at the slowest pace in the league the last 5 games, and Sixers also bottom 10 in that regard. And they're the 3rd worst offensive rated team. Both teams top 5 defensive rated team last 5 games, and both teams top 10 defending the 3 on the season. I could only look towards this game towards an under. And then from a side perspective, Philly does have the slight rest advantage, even though they're on the front end of a back-to-back. And Philly's been pretty good against the number. They've covered 13 of their last 19. They are 7-2 as a road favorite. Orlando has been good too. And actually, if I look at last 5 game stats, Orlando's been the better defense and rebounding team last 5 games. So I think the best bet here is under 222.5. And I'll write that down on my short list. 222.5. Let's see how you guys feel about this one. Casey from last game says, No Wimby, no me. Tomorrow says Magic first half. Sixers hangover after that Nuggets win. And it's a revenge game for Orlando. JB Brown thinks a little different, likes the Sixers. Raven Ron. I mean, we have everybody liking different sides here. JB Brown says Magic only scoring 98 points a game last 5 games. Sixers scoring 120.6 last 5. It goes back to them struggling without friends in the lineup. JT likes the Sixers team total over 113.5. Says they're averaging closer to 119 on the road. What up, Brian H? Manny leaning towards the under. Tariq thinks that Embiid is going to rest tomorrow. He likes the Sixers today. Peter agrees with the under in this game. Okay, watch this. Also thinking that might be the right way to go. JB Brown reminding us that the Sixers won by 20 without Embiid in Orlando on December 27th. UCapper comes in and asks, Magic team total under, 6 straight unders without France. I mean, 6 straight full game unders too. But I get it. The Sixers offense, we definitely trust a hell of a lot more than this Magic offense. And let's see, what is the team total for the Magic? I mean, I like both. I like the full game under. I like the team total under. Team total is one. You can get a 109, 109 or 108.5. Looks like what we can get here. So I'll write that down too. Team total under 109. All right. So I feel like we did good stuff there. And let's keep moving on down the list. So next game up, we have 535, 536, Denver Nuggets, Boston Celtics. And my bad, my odd screen just blanked out there. Let me see if I can get it back here. I think this one opened up 4.5 point favorites for the Celtics. Now up to about -7. And my odd screen is blanking out. So I'll go with what I got here on my banners. And there we go. It opened up 233.5 for the total. Right now we see 234 everywhere. Injury report. Don't see anybody on there for the Celtics. For the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon is game time decision, but he's probable. Strother is out. Rest advantage is for Denver, 2 days compared to one. Denver has not been playing their best basketball as of late. They've only covered 2 of their last 7 games, and they're only 1-2 so far this season as a road dog. Boston, I can't help but think, Boston, and here we go. Daniel says it 20-0 at the crib. They told us in the beginning of the season that they were going to take these home games extremely serious because they felt like they had been letting their fans down in previous years, and they've held true. They've won every single game. So it's hard for me to look away from Boston, knowing that they're going to give max effort here and knowing that the Nuggets haven't been playing well ATS wise. Boston has been the second best defensive rated team the last 5 games, third best rebounding team. I think that they are the right side, and I think they get the job done by double digits in this matchup. So would only look towards Boston. Let's see what the chat likes here. Tomorrow says got on -5 last night. Great work there. JT took the first half. So did JB Brown. Manny says it's a statement game. Says Boston is his best bet today. Dante thinks the Lions a little bit disrespectful. Kevin Johnson isolating that second quarter. Says Celtics 14-6 ATS at home. Nuggets 6-15 ATS on the road. He played second quarter -1.5 and full game -5.5 for the Celtics. And Nuggets are a strong first quarter team. So I could see why you want to avoid the first quarter and just play that second quarter. Nice work there. Santonio Springs disagrees. He loves Denver. Lit Picks thinks that Jokic is going to score, but the Celtics are going to win by margin in that first half. JB Brown reminding us that the Celtics are 8-2, ATS their last 10 in the first half. And he reminds everybody to smash the like button. Appreciate that. If you guys like the show, definitely does help us out if you could hit the like button. Peter rolling with Boston -7. Tasha likes Boston first half. and she likes the first half team total over 61. Justin going with the full game team total over 120.5. So majority of people liking the Celtics here. There are a few who like the Nuggets, and we did have Kevin Johnson saying that the Celtics should win that second quarter. All right, let's keep moving on. We have 4 more games left on the slate. Next game up is 5:37, 5:38. Phoenix and New Orleans opened up. New Orleans -2. Still 2 is a consensus. Total opened up 234.5, and that has gone up to 237. For the injury report here, Matt Ryan continues to be out for the Pelicans. For the Suns, Bobo and Damian Lee continue to be out. So the Suns are the team with the rest advantage here. They have 2 days compared to 1 for the Pelicans. Suns have not been playing great basketball, though. They've only covered 1 of their last 5 games. They are 3-12 versus competition so far this season. And when I say competition, I mean greater than 55% win teams. Pelicans have been playing good basketball lately. They've covered 7 of their last 10. The categories that I care about, offensive rating, defensive rating, rebound percentage, all favor the Pelicans. The only thing that holds me up here is, can I trust the Pelicans to close a game versus a KD and a Devin Booker? Like, regardless how bad the Suns have been playing, I still don't really trust that. Pelicans' first half has been really strong. I think if you like that side, you get in and get out. So that would be my recommendation. And as far as the total, I think I would agree. The more games with Booker, Bill, KD, all in the lineup, I'm going to think there's more overs. And the Pelicans have been playing more over games lately anyway, 4 of their last 5. And also, the last 5 meetings between these teams have all gone over. Both teams, top 10 3-point shooting teams on the season as well. So it'll be over or Pelicans first half for this better. Let's take a look at what you guys think in the chat. Jimmy Gomez, what up, brother? Says hit the like. Let's jack those bookies. Appreciate you. What's good, Link? Dan says Pelicans first half. So does Daniel, Raven Ron. Everybody's in agreement. Joe the Gambler. Everybody's in agreement. Get in and get out with the Pellies. JT says contrarian under 237. Says both teams' totals are averaging less than 230 with home/road. I think he's talking about home/road splits, and he also leans towards the first half. So going with a contrarian under in this one here. Tomorrow says line opened up Pels -2.5. 90% of the money on the Pelicans, but line went down to -1.5. Says can't go against reverse line movement. I don't trust the Pelicans for 48 minutes. I just do not. That's myself. Manny says full game. I think he's saying first half and full game over. I think that's what he means. Kevin says line stinks, but I don't care. Give me the Pelicans. Dr. Shilly in the house says hit the like button, y'all. Says been a minute. Couldn't gamble while I was in Barbados. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself at least. Always okay to take a break. And Barbados sounds like a nice place to take a break and enjoy yourself. So hopefully you did that. Marquise likes the Suns money line. So I think we'll move on from here. Pels first half, full game over are my recommendations there. Next game up, 539, 540. Atlanta and Miami opened up Heat -5.5. They are now 6.5 or 7-point favorites. Total open 234.5. This is a huge move. It's down to 221.5. Injury report. Trae Young has been listed as out. Wesley Matthews out. Hunter out. And then for Miami, Duncan Robinson is game time decision. Jaime Jaquez Jr. is doubtful. But the big 3 for Miami, Hero, Butler, Bam, all look like they will be available tonight. Atlanta is on the front end of a back-to-back. They play Cleveland tomorrow. Atlanta only has covered 3 of their last 13 games. I mean, you guys know how these Atlanta stats have been. My main thought with this game was my best to get there with the Heat, and I have it up to 8 because when I was making these thumbnails or these banners, it did move that high. It's since come back down, but I was thinking the Heat after losing that game by what 20 points, I was expecting a big bounce back from them. Especially division game, a team they know well, team that I feel like they usually beat up on. I was thinking that, the mostly healthy Heat can take advantage. Seeing them without Trae Young now too. I mean, Atlanta has been capable of playing without Trae Young, but I could only look towards Miami. And the total has moved too much for me to get involved on the under. That is the way that I was looking, but I'm not into betting totals after they moved 13 points. So let's take a look at the chat here. Anthony, appreciate you sharing. He says he has to run, but his best bet is Georgetown plus 12. Tomorrow likes the Heat first half. Marquise likes Atlanta full game. Daniel leans Heat. What up, Jay Wills? CEO Kyle likes the Heat first half. Another Heat lover here. Ran Oves says going big on the over with the Heat and the Hawks against the big line move. Peter thinks that the Heat win this game by double digits. I happen to think so too. Kevin says Heat on their division. I would agree with that. Jerry says Hawks 0-5 ATS, last 5 on the road, and 1-8 straight up in last 9 versus the Heat. He's taking the Heat -7. Zachariah reminding us that it's Haslam jersey retirement night for the Heat. Maybe they come out with a little bit of extra fire. Matt thinks so. He says Heat first quarter. So this could be a game where it's a Heat trifecta kind of deal here. I could absolutely see that in this matchup. The only thing I worry about is Atlanta is a team that does play kind of strong for the first half and fades out as the game goes on. So that's the only thing I'd have against playing early, but it does make sense. Larry Love likes Bam double-double and the win. Heat are absolutely on my short list. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving down the list. 2 more games in the association. We have 541, 542. Indiana and Portland opened up Pacers -5. Still are looking at 5.5 right now. Total opened up 238. Haven't really moved from that. Injury report: Siakam likely to play. Halliburton game time. Isaiah Jackson game time. Nimhart game time. Neesmith game time. Portland, you have Ayton likely. Moses Brown and Shaden Sharp both out. I think that the Pacers still are going to be playing with a boost of energy with this trade. I don't like the idea of Halliburton playing his first game after missing so much time, but they are also adding in a Siakam, so they are going to have to get used to things regardless. Pacers, though, only covered 1 game so far out of 7 on back-to-back. Not great. And I don't really think of the Pacers as a team I want to lay points with, but they are 3-1 as a road favorite. They are 10-2-1 ATS their last 13. I really, even though Indiana's on a back-to-back, I want nothing to do with Portland. Portland is pathetic to me. They don't play defense. They can't score. Like, what am I really putting my money on when I bet with Portland? So it's Pacers or pass, and I probably will just pass in this particular matchup. Dennis has rest advantage Blazers. Absolutely 1 day to 0. Tomorrow, thinking that the Pacers are going to sit somebody here. Will Rizza, he says not laying 5 with Hallie coming back and Siakam first game. I get it. I'm still not betting the +5 with the Blazers either. KC likes over 238 here. Thinks that there'll be points scored and not a whole lot of defense. Kevin Johnson says Blazers are 0-5 straight up in ATS in their last 5 games off of a win, losing by an average of 13.6 points per game, failing to cover by 10.3 points per game, saying that they cannot string together wins. So they won last game, thinks they fall off here tonight. Good stats there, Kevin. Tariq likes the Pacers first half. Brian likes to pair the Pacers with the Lakers. Jay Will's also thinking that they're a parlay piece. Isaac says, feel like Pacers shouldn't be only -5. He thinks it should be higher. And Wu Rizza, I'm in agreement. He says, hell no, Blazers can't get my money. I'm not doing it. Manny thinks it's a smash spot for the Pacers and says he likes their team total over. So I could only look towards the Pacers. Not interested in the Blazers in the slightest bit. All right. Let's move on over to the last game on the slate. And that will be 5:45, 5:46. Brooklyn Nets heading into LA to take on the Lakers. Opened up Lakers -6.5. 7 is the consensus right now. Total opened up 229.5. 227 is what we're looking at now. For the injury report, Miles Bridges' game time decision, but he's probable. You have Sharp, Simmons, and Whitehead all out for the Lakers. AD likely to play. LeBron a true game time. They'll be without Cam Reddish and Gabe Vincent. Lakers have gone back to the lineup that was working for them, more so last season, and they're starting to have success. They're starting to play better basketball. These Nets have been absolutely pathetic lately. They have covered 2 out of their last 17 games, and you cannot pay me to go put my money on these Nets. At the same time, as good as the Lakers have been playing lately, I'm not ready to go put my money on them to win by double digits or win this game by margin. So it's ultimately going to be a pass. But if I had to, gun in my head, I had to make a bet here, it would be either the Lakers or the under. Um, Nets under 7 of their last 9 games. Lakers under 4 of their last 5 at the house. Yeah, so either the under or the Lakers if I absolutely had to make a pick here. Let's take a look at the chat. Tasha kills me with these ski your boys. I haven't been betting them. I'm not interested in betting them lately. Daniel thinks team total over for the Lakers. Jay Will thinks Lakers and under. Jerry Koo says Lakers -7 and Nets team total under. Justin sharing his best bet of Georgetown +12. Yeah, I don't think this is a game we should be running to the window with. Don't think this is a game should be running to the window with. Um, I will ultimately pass here. Brian says Nets team total under. This one has to be a pass. So we talked some NFL. We talked all of the NFL actually, and we got through today's NBA slate. Mr. Veno, I appreciate him coming by and helping us with that NFL. Now it is about that time. You guys who have been around know what to do. If you are new, I will let you guys know the rules. Everybody drops their best bet in the chat, and or if you like to, you don't have to. No, no pressure. But the rules are: put best bet, next to it. Put the line or the number of your best bet that you got, and no more than 2 best bets, 2 or less. Those are the rules. And while you guys are doing that, Daniel does remind everybody to hit the like button. But appreciate that. Absolutely does help out the show. For myself, I'm between 2 plays here. I'm between 2 plays here. There's one I can give a football play. Really, I could, but I want to try to give something that's going to go today. So bear with me for 1 second while I just look over this list. And let me just check one more thing while you guys drop your best bets here. And I will let you guys know what we are rolling with. All right, I want to give you guys what I'm most confident in right now. And as of right now, I am most confident in the football play. I will be doing another show on the Wagertalk NBA show. So, if you're looking for specifically NBA for today, you can find it there. But my best bet as of right now will come in the NFL. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We will go with the Ravens to win the first half minus 6.5. I believe they're 14-3 in the first half so far this season. And they've been sitting there waiting. I know they're going to have, a game plan to come out there and put some points on the board. And I think they'll hold the Rook down the same way they held him down in week 1 of the NFL season. So best bet for me is Ravens first half minus 6.5. Let's take a look at some people from the chat, what you guys are liking as your best bets. JB Brown like Celtics first half. Joe the Gambler going with the Pelicans first half. Manny likes Boston minus 7. Zoned Up likes the Nets plus 7. Siete Catorce rolling with his usual money line parlay. He's taking Charlotte and the Lakers. Jerry Koo likes the Ravens and the Chiefs so far this weekend. Nice. I like those two bets right there. Tasha rolling with Boston first half team total over 61. That's her best bet today. Jay Wills says Lakers and under. You can under 230.5 is what he's getting there. So I believe he's putting that together for plus 120 at FanDuel. Matt Porter going with the Spurs and Hornets first quarter under 58. Also like those Heat first quarter minus 2.5. And Raven Ron giving us an NHL winner with the Panthers in regulation. For you guys watching on the replay, you can see all of these best bets in the chat. You can see everything in the chat. You just hit the comment section if you're on your phone and swipe to the left and it should say live chat. You hit that and you can see everything. Or if you're on your laptop, it's in the top right hand corner. Other than that, I mean, like I always say, this show is absolutely nothing without the chat. I appreciate y'all tuning in every single day. Great information from you guys, and we know how to have a great time. So with that said, I will catch you guys later. Members, be on the lookout. We will have something up for tomorrow, whether it's a show or just sharing wagers. But most likely a System Saturday show. So best of luck if you tell. Good luck everybody on all of your action, and I will catch you guys later.